I found the first camera 3 weeks after moving into my apartment. It was hidden inside the smoke detector in my bedroom, a tiny lens no bigger than a pinhole, pointed directly at my bed. My name is Emma Richardson, and I'm a 26-year-old graduate student in Boston. I've been so excited to find an affordable studio in Back Bay, a neighborhood I could never normally afford. The landlord, Mr. Henshaw, had been almost too eager to rent it to me, barely asking any questions, offering a lower security deposit than standard. I should have wondered why. I only found the camera by accident. My smoke detector had been beeping, indicating a low battery. When I opened it to replace the battery, I saw the small black lens embedded in the plastic casing, along with a tiny SD card slot, and what looked like a wireless transmitter. My hands shook as I carefully removed the entire unit and set it on my desk. This wasn't paranoia. This was real. Someone had been watching me sleep, watching me change clothes, watching everything I did in the supposed privacy of my own bedroom. I called the police immediately. Officers Martinez and Chin arrived within 30 minutes, their expressions growing grave as they examined the device. "This is a hidden surveillance camera," Officer Martinez confirmed. "Wireless transmission, motion activated. How long have you lived here?" 3 weeks. "We need to check the rest of your apartment," Officer Chin said. "This might not be the only one." They were right. We found 5 more cameras. One in the bathroom, hidden inside the ventilation fan. One in the kitchen, tucked into the smoke detector there too. One in the living room bookshelf, disguised as a book spine. One in the closet, positioned to see into the bathroom when the door was open. And one, the one that made me physically ill, inside the shower head itself, waterproof and angled perfectly to capture everything. "I'm going to be sick," I whispered, running to the toilet. The thought of someone watching me shower, watching my most private moments, made my skin crawl with violation. The police bagged all the cameras as evidence and began investigating. The cameras transmitted to a local IP address, which led them to the apartment building's basement. Specifically, to a locked storage unit registered to my landlord, Mr. Henshaw. Inside that storage unit, they found a nightmare: multiple monitors, a powerful computer, and dozens of hard drives. Terabytes of footage from not just my apartment, but from 7 other units in the building. All young women, all living alone. Mr. Henshaw had been running a voyeuristic surveillance operation for at least 5 years. He was arrested that night. I gave my statement, filed for a protective order, and started looking for a new place immediately. The building owner offered to let me out of my lease, and even offered a small settlement to avoid a lawsuit. I took it and moved in with my friend just temporarily while I found something new. But here's where the story stops being about a creepy landlord and becomes something I still can't explain. 2 weeks after I moved out, I started receiving emails. They came from a burner account with no identifying information, and they contained video files. Video files of me in my new temporary room at Jess's apartment. The first video showed me sleeping. The timestamp indicated it had been recorded the night before. I immediately searched Jess's guest room and found nothing. No cameras, no suspicious devices. I checked my laptop camera, my phone. Everything was clean, but the videos kept coming. Me brushing my teeth, me working on my laptop, me crying on the phone with my mother about the violation I'd experienced. Someone was still watching me, but I couldn't find how. "Maybe it's your devices," Jess suggested. "Your laptop or phone could be hacked." I bought all new electronics, new laptop, new phone, everything. I factory reset my old devices and stored them in a drawer. The videos stopped for 3 days. Then they started again. But these videos were different. They weren't from cameras anymore. The new videos showed me from angles that were impossible. From above, looking straight down at me sitting at Jess's kitchen table, from inside the mirror, as if the camera was somehow behind the glass, from perspectives that made my brain hurt trying to understand how they were captured. And in some of the videos, I wasn't alone. There was something in the background, a shadow that didn't match any object in the room, a figure that stood in corners just out of focus, watching me alongside whatever was recording. I showed the emails to the police. They were baffled. The videos were real. They could verify the timestamps, the locations, the content, but they couldn't explain how they were being captured or who was sending them. Ms. Richardson. Officer Martinez said carefully, "Have you considered that maybe Mr. Henshaw had an accomplice? Someone who's continuing this. But how are they getting these angles? How are they watching me in a completely different apartment where there are definitely no cameras?" He had no answer. The emails continued. Every day, sometimes multiple times per day, I'd receive new footage. And the figure in the background was getting clearer. It was tall, humanoid, but its proportions were wrong. Arms too long. Head tilted at an angle that necks shouldn't bend. One night, I received a video that had been recorded only 10 minutes earlier. It showed me sitting on Jess's couch, where I was sitting right now, looking at my phone. But in the video, the shadowy figure was standing directly behind me. I spun around. Nothing there, but my laptop dinged with a new email. Another video. This one showed me spinning around to look behind me, and the figure had moved. It was now standing in the doorway, partially visible, watching me search for it. "What do you want?" I screamed at the empty room. Jess came running, found me crying, hyperventilating. She insisted I stay in her room that night. We pushed her dresser against the door, kept the lights on. I felt like a child again, afraid of monsters under bed. But at 3:47 a.m., my phone buzzed with a new email. The video showed both of us sleeping in Jess's bed, filmed from above, and the figure was in the room with us, standing between the bed and the blocked door, its impossibly long arms hanging at its sides, its head tilted as it watched us sleep. I woke Jess up. When she saw the video, she went pale. "Emma, this isn't possible. Nobody could have gotten in here. The door is blocked. The windows are locked. This doesn't make sense." "I know," I sobbed. "I know it doesn't make sense. But it's happening." We spent the rest of the night in her living room with every light on, drinking coffee, trying to understand. As dawn broke, I received one final email. The video was different from all the others. It showed my old apartment, the bedroom I'd lived in for 3 weeks. But this footage was old. The timestamp read from 7 years ago, long before I'd lived there. In the video, a different young woman was sleeping in the bed, and standing over her was the same figure, tall, wrong, with its head tilted and its 2 long arms hanging. As we watched, the figure slowly leaned down toward the sleeping woman. The video quality degraded, becoming static-filled and distorted. When it cleared, the bed was empty. The woman was gone. I researched the building's history with a growing sense of dread. 7 years ago, a tenant named Ashley Morrison had gone missing from that exact apartment. She'd simply vanished one night. No signs of forced entry, no evidence of foul play. The case had gone cold. Mr. Henshaw had started installing cameras in his units shortly after Ashley's disappearance. What if he'd seen something on his surveillance feeds? Something that made him obsessively record everything, trying to capture proof of something impossible? I went back through all the videos I'd received, studying the figure more carefully. In the oldest footage, from years ago based on the metadata, it was barely visible, just a shadow, a distortion. But with each passing year, in each subsequent video from different tenants, it became more solid, more defined, more present. It was learning to exist on camera, learning to manifest in our world through the act of being recorded, and now it had fixated on me. The videos showed it getting closer each time, first in backgrounds, then in doorways, then in rooms with me. The latest video had shown it standing right beside the bed. I'm writing this now because I don't know what else to do. The police can't help with something that doesn't follow physical laws. Technology experts can't explain footage captured from impossible angles by devices that don't exist. And nobody believes me when I try to explain that something is watching me through cameras that aren't there. Last night, I received another video. It was recorded from a perspective I recognized, lying in bed, looking up at the ceiling. It was filmed from my point of view, as if the camera was my own eyes. In the video, I watched myself reach up with hands that weren't quite mine, fingers too long, movements too fluid, and adjust something above me. The perspective shifted, and I saw my own face looking back, blank and empty. Then the figure smiled with my mouth. I haven't slept since. I've been sitting in a 24-hour diner, surrounded by people, writing this on borrowed paper because I don't trust any device anymore. Every phone, every laptop, every screen might be a window for it to watch through. Or worse, a door for it to come through. I don't know if Mr. Henshaw installed those cameras to capture proof of this thing, or the cameras somehow called to it gave a way to manifest in our world. Maybe it's been in that building for decades, feeding on the violation and fear of being watched without consent. All I know is that it's still watching me, and with each video, it's getting closer to coming through entirely. If you're reading this, check your apartments. Look for hidden cameras. But more importantly, if you find them, don't just remove them. You need to understand what they might have seen, what might have been watching through them. Because some things thrive in the act of surveillance. Some things learn to exist in the space between the lens and the lens's target. And some things, once they've seen you, never stop looking. My phone just buzzed. I have a new email. I'm afraid to open it. I'm afraid it will be a video of me, right now, sitting in this diner, with something standing behind me that nobody else can see. I'm going to look in the reflection of my coffee cup now. If you never hear from me again, you'll know why. The thing about hidden cameras is that sometimes something else is watching through them too.